Hi, boys and ghouls. So today I decided I'm going to go ahead and do a getting ready with me. I'm going to do a first impressions on the Juvias Place Saharan 2 palette. I have not used Juvia's Place before, but I have heard amazing things, so I figured I would go ahead and try it out on camera. I have already moisturized my face. I did my brows with a new brow product. I'm not sure that I'm going to be using it in the future, but they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. And then I moisturized with something we got this month in Ipsy, but I already had. It's the Glam Glow Starter Moisturizer. I'm going to dip into one other palette because personally for me, this guy doesn't really have a transition shade that will work for me that's light enough and is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to dip into the Ulta Melissa Michelle just to grab out a quick transition shade, and then we're going to dip into the Juvia's palette. I'm dipping into the shade Rosemary in the Ulta Melissa Michelle collab just to use it as my transition shade. You know what, I just realized I didn't grab out my mirror, but I can still do that. I don't think this brush is going to be fluffy enough. Let me switch that out. And let me look around real quick and see if I can find, there it is, my hand mirror. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just a little dingy today, I guess. But that's every day, isn't it? I did prime my eyes with the Urban Decay Original Primer Potion. So again, going in with that color Rosemary from the Melissa Michelle palette just to get a transition shade down. I'm going to try to make this a fairly quick getting ready with me, but with it being a first impressions, we'll see if that works out. Why do we always cock our head to the side when we're using a handheld mirror? I don't know why I always do it. I may dip into one other thing as well, just because I don't see a color I really want to use in this particular palette to do my brow bone. But that's not that big of a deal. I am going to go in with that little fluffy brush we tried to start with, and we're going to start dipping into the Saharan. So I am going to use this bold, beautiful color for my my crease. It's not really a transition shade. Oh, I bumped you guys, didn't I? Definitely not a transition shade, but using it in my crease. Oh my God, look at that. I like barely dipped in the palette, but the good thing is there wasn't much fallout. I didn't do my face makeup today because I was worried about fallout, but I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. I did hear these tend to stain, but that doesn't really bother me. By morning, it'll be gone. That's how I feel about that. This color is beautiful. It's blending out beautiful. Just putting in that in and above our crease and blending it out with this fluffy brush. Jeez Louise. This is gorgeous, you guys. Look at that. Holy smokes. Super pigmented and it's blending beautifully. Now I'm like, why have I slept on this for so long? Because this is gorgeous. Oh, I do have some fallout. But like I said, we didn't do our face makeup today just because I was concerned about that. But it definitely blends absolutely gorgeous. And it is crazy pigmented. That insane. And I barely used effect on that. It did go up a bit higher on the side than I wanted it to. So I'm just going to try to even it up a little bit. We're going to highlight our brow here in a moment anyway, so. But oh my gosh, you guys, I'm like shocked with the pigmentation on this. I've heard so many good things about these, and I've just stayed away. And now I may not be staying away. So that is that gorgeous shade. Let me grab a clean blending brush here so we don't end up making any more of a mess. And just blending out the edges, which I know is the most boring part of doing an eyeshadow look, but when I'm doing something like this, it's also one of the most necessary parts of doing an eyeshadow look. We'll blend right in camera. This blends out so well. It's ridiculous. I had originally planned on just doing 2 shades, but I think I'm going to use one more just to deepen up my crease. Guys, look how much is still on this brush. That's insane. Whoa, that just made my lights a lot brighter. Sorry guys, I'm dimming up my mirror here. There we go. That's the first time that mirror has actually gotten that bright, which is kind of crazy. All right, let me find a little brush here to try to go into the crease. And we're going to use this shade here just to try to deepen that up. I'm taking this little double-ended crown brush here. And I'm putting that just in the crease. Yeah, that's perfect. It's tempting to do a cut crease today, but honestly, they never seem to work out well for me. So we're just going to roll with how it's going. And just use that shade to deepen up the crease. I don't know if you guys can really see it. And my lid is a mess, but that's okay. We'll go back in with just a touch more primer. There we go. Got it just deepened up just a touch. And let me go in with a makeup wipe here very quickly and clean up my lid and the fallout that we have on this side here. I should have got one of these guys out already. There is a lot of fallout here on this side, but the other side did not fall out. So I may have just had a little bit too much product on my brush. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen these corners up while I'm at it, because we're not going to add any more shadow to the outside of our outside corner until we do our lower lash line. If we add it then, we may just keep things nice and sharp today. Holy smokes though, guys, this color is gorgeous. This is definitely a me color. And then I am going to go ahead and rub just gently over my eye and get some of that shadow off versus trying to do a cut crease, because cut creases never seem to work for me. Once I lay down the base, things just get sticky and messy. But that shadow doesn't seem to want to budge. So what we're going to do instead is use the makeup wipe to blend it down a bit, because it looks obviously super patchy right now on the lid, but we are adding a different shade to the lid, so not to worry, we will fix it. And actually we may add 2 shades. Originally I was only planning on 1, but because we have so much red on our lid, I'm going to take my fluffy blending brush and just soften up this line just a bit. Because that one ended up a little extreme. No product on the brush, just using it to blend out. And then going back in and trying to clean it up a bit, but not so harsh. Much better. And then we are going to go in. I am going to go ahead and do 2 different shades on the lid. So we are going to start with this guy here in the corner, in the outer corner. Don't seem to be picking this guy up as well on the brush for some reason. But if it's as pigmented as the red, that'll be fine. Yeah, that guy definitely didn't pick up as well. Let's go in with a flat brush. Just going to use a little flat brush here. Yes, a lot of these brushes are new, so I'm still pulling them out of the packaging. I'm definitely in love with this red, though. This blue, I'm not so sure about now. That's a little better. We may do a glitter cut crease today as well, just because I love a glitter cut crease. Hopefully my quality's okay today. It looks like it's holding up all right, but never really can tell till it goes wrong, can you? These are quite nice as well. They're just taking the matte shade definitely built up a lot easier. I am going to end up taking this up into a wing, but we're going to wait until we have our foundation on to do that. And we're using this color to about the halfway point of our eye. I'm really liking these, you guys. And then we are going to go in with the lighter blue shade in this palette. It's almost, I can't read the color. It is, I don't even know if I'm going to. Yeah, there's no way I can figure out what that's supposed to say, so we're going to use this lighter blue here. And we're going to finish off the lid with that. Oh, wow. So this actually is coming off more of a minty green color now that it's actually applied. It's very much a minty green color. It looked blue in the pan and when I swatched it, but for whatever reason, it's definitely a minty green here. Still on a flat brush with that shade. But yeah, that's definitely a much mintier color than I expected it to, so we're going to put some more of that blue back in. That's crazy that the color was so different to me in the pan. And I'm going to use more of that dark blue because I actually wanted more of the blue to show up. So I'm going to bring that darker blue back in a little bit. The matte I definitely loved, but I'm struggling a bit more with the shimmers. And I poked myself in the eye. Why do I always seem to do that on camera? I never do that when I'm not filming. Not that you guys don't care, because you don't see it when I'm not filming. I'm definitely liking the pigmentation on these, though. Is kind of amazing. So definitely a good first impression, that's for sure. You know what I just realized? I haven't exfoliated and moisturized my lips yet. And these are looking pretty damn good to me. I am going to do my lower lash line. However, I need to do my base first. But first, yeah, we forgot to do our lips, moisturize and exfoliate our lips, going in with the Jeffree Star lip scrub. I usually do this step off camera. Before I actually come on. These taste really good though. This one is the pumpkin pie. And honestly, I feel like these, let me show it again. I feel like these are a really good value. Yes, you can make your own lip scrub at home, but if you don't, the size of these is massive. Like the ones you can buy at the drugstore are usually like $5-6, and they're nowhere near even half this size. And they don't taste as good either. And then I use the Jouer, what's it called? Jouer Lip Enhancer. I've had this for a while, but I just started using it again. It's just a nice balm, but it's very, very conditioning and hydrating on the lips. So let's go ahead and do our base makeup. And then we'll get into I think I'm going to do a glitter cut crease today. And then do our lower lash line. And I usually do not do this on camera, so bear with me on this one. I am going to use this is beat up, the Dermalogica Skin Perfect Primer. Is there I'm looking to see if there's a shade on here, but I don't believe there is. I think it just comes in one shade. I'm almost out of this, but this is a really, really nice primer. I think I'm going to see about repurchasing it. And I use this all over my face. I don't think this is really a pore filling primer, but it definitely gives a really nice base. And I'm not, I've used pore filling primers in the past. I tend to use the, I still have a whole bottle of it, what is it, the Benefit Professional Primer. And I've heard some things recently that have made me want to switch away from pore filling primers. I do use quite a bit of this. I like to have a nice smooth base, but I'm going to try to switch away from the pore filling primers, as they're bad for your pores. Luckily, I don't use them. When I do use them, I don't use them every day. I do like the Becca Backlight and First Light primers because they have the dewy finish. That way, if I wear a matte foundation, I don't have to worry about my skin looking too dry. So I use those a lot, and those are not pore filling primers, so that's a good thing. But I will use up the Professional. I'm just going to be a lot more careful about making sure I don't use it every single day. because I don't want to overall exaggerate my pores. Trying to be careful around my brows since I did already do them. And we're going to go in with the ColourPop Stick Foundation. I didn't like this the first time I used it. I've used it for the last couple days now, just kind of trying to see if maybe it was just user error. And honestly, I think it was. Like, I've been fine with using it as an everyday foundation, as long as it's not something I'm using very heavily, then it's been applying quite nicely. I actually seem like I'm applying a lot of this, but I am barely tapping my face with it. Because I found when I added really heavy streaks of it, it did not blend out nice at all. It looked very, very cakey. So instead, I just kind of tap it on my face and then blend it in. I use the L'Oreal Infallible Sponge. I just really like this sponge. It's a drugstore sponge, but it is very soft and blends everything out quite nicely because if you notice, it is quite a large sponge. I find that I feel like beauty blenders are quite expensive. And honestly, I've never owned one, so I don't feel it's worth that kind of money. Trying to keep from getting too much foundation on my lips. I've never understood why people apply foundation over their lips. I understand it gets on your lips some, but some people like straight go over their lips with it, and I don't get that. Like, what is the purpose of putting foundation on your lips? Because then, for me at least, when I go to apply my lipstick, it makes everything look patchy. Even if I clean it off my lips, I still will have some residue. And do the forehead real quick. I'll still have some residue, and no matter what I do, I can't get rid of that. If you notice, I close my product up after every little bit I use. I don't like my products being exposed to the air very much, because while it's not good for your product, I've never actually done any of my face on camera before, so hopefully it does not drive you guys crazy. Will you stop? You guys hear my baby in the background? She sees somebody out the window because I actually have the blinds cracked. So there we have our foundation. It's not super full coverage. They say it can be, but I don't find it to be full coverage because, like I said, if you put too much on, it ends up just being cakey. And then the next step I usually do is apply my highlight, my liquid highlight, because I use liquid highlight and regular highlight. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that still. I'm using the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector Liquid in the shade Opal. This stuff is super potent, you guys. I literally take like not even a full pump of this on the back of my hand. I use my finger and I dot it right here on my cheek and blend slightly with it, and then I'll go in with another beauty sponge to blend it out the rest of the way. This is literally all I use of this product, but this product's really pretty on the skin as well, so like on your shoulders and such. And then I put that on my nose too, and my Cupid's bow, just slightly on those areas. And then just taking a little beauty sponge, we're just going to pounce that in just a little bit. This next part I'm really scared to actually do on camera because every once in a while it goes very, very wrong. Let's get these guys out of the way. We don't need those again. We are going to go in and do our contour. I'm trying to decide which one I want to use because I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to do this on camera. We're going to go in with this guy. This was from Ipsy a couple months ago, and I'm not minding it at all, honestly. It's the Take Home the Bronzer from the Balm, and it's in the shade Oliver. And I'm using a crown brush. I don't know if this is supposed to be a contour brush, but it's what I use for it. It's a flat brush. Or not a flat brush, but a powder brush that has a more chiseled shape, I guess is what I want to say. And I take from right above my ear and follow my cheekbone down. And then I will take, I know this looks a little harsh, but we are going to blend it out in a moment. This gives me a very harsh line, but I like it because then I can turn around and blend it out. This brush gives me a super harsh line, but I like the shape that it provides. So I'll use this and then go in and blend. And then we go in and blend. This is a Eco Tools. It says powder blush brush. It looks like this guy here. And then we're just gonna do this guy and blend everything out. If you guys couldn't tell, I have time to do full face today, so that's exactly what I'm doing. We have that blended out nicely. And then I have I'm going to take the same Eco Tools brush, and then I go in with my neck and bronze up my neck. I'll use this for my forehead as well, and then I use one other brush for the sides of my nose. Yes, I know, I'm old. The skin on my neck is very thin. It doesn't help that I've had major weight losses in my life as well, so yeah. And then finally, we're going to go in and do I didn't do my forehead. I'm a genius. That seems like it's the thing I always forget, and it's actually the thing I need the most. Again, going in with that big Eco Tools brush, I start in the center of my forehead and then bring it down towards my contour on my cheek. I am really liking the way these shadows look. I find them to be quite beautiful. I don't know if I'm going to use this palette though. With how shimmery these shadows are, I'm not sure I'm going to use this palette with to go in with my highlight shade under my brows, but I may. And then I'm taking this is an IT Cosmetics brush. This is actually an airbrush concealer brush, but I find it perfect for contouring my nose. And then bringing that up towards my brow. I don't know why I decided to do all these steps on here today. It's not something I usually do. You guys have never seen me do my face before. Nor may you ever again, because it's just a lot extra time. Now, usually I'd go in with concealer, but just don't feel like fucking with it today. Ooh, sorry. I don't feel like messing with it today. I just don't feel like having a heavy concealer under my eyes. I could probably use it, but c'est la vie. I'm going in with the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Party. I believe that this was our Sephora gift. Just taking it on an angled brush. And then I follow up through my contour with my blush. Oh, got a little much product on there, but that's okay. Because we still have to set, and when I set, my powder nicely covers that. And then I have a very large brush over here. Let's put this one in here. A very large brush to go in and set everything. My hair's getting in my way. So I am going in with the powder I've been loving lately. It's the Becca, I lost the cap to it. The Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder in the shade Golden Hour. This powder just gives me a nice, beautiful, seamless finish, and I'm going to try not to tap on camera too much because I know that sound can be a little aggravating. I'm going to have to. And then I just take this starting underneath my eye and run it all along my cheek and, well, everywhere else. I'm getting a little more powder out here, guys. Oops, that's probably more than I wanted. That's okay. Trying not to tap on the lid, which usually I would do. So that is our base today. Like I said, no concealer just because I don't feel like wearing concealer today. I just don't want it today. I have the top of another powder. This is the MAC translucent powder, but this has been my tried or true lately. I just feel like it blends everything together so nice. And we're going to go ahead and do our lower lash line real quick. And like I said, I think I'm going to use setting spray first. I'm going to use this one. This is the Apocalyptic Beauty. What's it called? The Badass Setting Spray, which I love. And it's in vanilla sugar. Just to get all those powders to mingle together nicely. And then let's go in and finish our eyes. I'm trying to decide where I want to start. Let's see if there's a shade in here we want to use under the eye. Because I have a feeling that blue is going to be quite extreme, but I think that's what I'm going with. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and repeat on our lower lash line. Let me grab my color switch. I don't know how loud that sound is on camera. I'm always worried it's really loud because I think it is. So going back in with the minty green shade, we're going to put that right here underneath our eye. And then we're going to use blue across the rest of the look. Don't worry about that little space because I'm going to use another lighter color for that. I'm going to go in with the more goldy tone shade for that. I probably should have used a transition, but it's late now. This blue shade is gorgeous. It really is. It's very foiled. I'm not using any setting spray or anything on these, and they are just packing a punch. And we're definitely using black on our lower lash line today because this is so damn colorful. Usually I would use, with a colorful look, I'd go in with like a green green liner, but I really want to use black today. Taking that all the way to the corner and bringing it up just to match it up. I think I'm going to go in actually and bring this shadow up along the red. You never know what's going to happen when you really start playing in makeup instead of trying to just create a look. If you let it evolve naturally, you never know what's going to happen. bringing that up to where the edge of my red is. And just creating a wing from the lower lash line. I don't know why, it just what it seemed like I should do. We are still going to use a winged liner, but I kind of like pulling that color up. This color, these two colors, honestly, both the red and the blue, I am loving. That one a little off where I wanted it to be, but that's okay. It probably would have been better if they had both turned out like this side. But and again, just pulling that across and blending it in with the rest of the blue that's already there. Sorry, I'm trying to get right up in this mirror and make sure everything's mostly even. You guys know, I'm sorry, nothing's ever perfectly symmetrical for anybody. If they say it is, they're probably lying. Just tapped into that red just a little bit to kind of blend it the rest of the way down into the blue. Oh, I did say we were going to go in with this shade, which is Aziza. Wow, that one I can pronounce. Aziza in our inner corner. Holy crap. That is bold. Seriously, I'm saying that is bold, and look at all the colors I've used today, but that is beautiful. It catches the light beautiful. It's almost a duochrome when it catches light. It may be a duochrome. But that color is beautiful in the inner corner. But because, sorry guys, because I'm using this in the inner corner, I'm like looking at the shade. I am going to dip into something else for my brow bone because I don't think this shade would look very good right there. This is going to be the longest live stream ever today. I don't know where my little plastic sheet for that guy went, but that's okay. We'll just set it aside for right this second. And we're going to grab our highlight shade, which is going to be, big surprise, Urban Decay Polyester Bride. Kind of cleaning my brushes a little. I was told to make sure I keep my brushes very clean when using these. And we're just going to apply this under the brow bone. We'll use the flat brush to do so. And then we may use a brush to blend it out depending on how it looks. Just applying it right under the brow bone, and then I'll take a fluffy brush and blend just along it a little bit. I just didn't want that gold super metallic. I wanted to go with more of a shimmer under my brow. I would never do a, personally would never do a super metallic shade right under. And I'm bringing this all the way down to the gold. I wouldn't personally do something so metallic at my brow. Let me make sure this isn't going to come off. It definitely stained the brush though. But who cares? I always use red anyway. So if my brushes are stained red, it's not surprising. Again, bringing that all the way into the inner corner of our brow and then bringing it down to match up with our gold. I think we are done with shadows. You guys are like, oh my God, you've been on forever. I would hope you were done. putting my brushes up, being a good girl, trying to stay organized. Let's go in. We're going to use the Ciate Wonder Wand liner in black. I want to say I got this in Ipsy or something like that, and it actually works quite well. It's so much harder to use a liner on your waterline when you're trying to hold a little mirror. Just my opinion. But I don't think you guys want me to get right up into camera with it, so a mirror is going to have to do. I like a really bold under eye, obviously. I just thought that would make the colors pop out more than using a colored liner today. There are children screaming outside for some reason. It is not my bug because he's not home today till like 6 o'clock tonight. So there we have our under eyeliner. The lighting's getting really bad in here. I will pick you guys up at the end for like a final look. And I may post a video just of the final look so people don't have to sit and watch through because, yeah, I can be boring. It's okay. I don't know why I decided to do this live today and to go full face. Originally, I was just going to film a video. Ooh, this liner. As much as I've been liking this liner lately, this is the tattooed liner from Scone. It is not really going over this Juvia's shimmer that well. Well, I guess it looks better than it's looking in the mirror in the handheld. Oh, I do really like these colors though, and I'm finding I kind of like the formula too. Like I said, this is just a immediate first impressions. Like I haven't even really swatched these before trying them out on my eyeball, so you guys are seeing literally what I think of everything as I do it. And let's go ahead and add a bit of a wing, even though we have a wonderful little liner wing, or shadow wing, I mean. We need a liner wing too. And then we're going to do our glitter as well. We got a lot going on the eyes today, but definitely not afraid of that. The only issue I'm having is right at my lashes, and I don't usually have this issue because the shadow's so metallic. It doesn't look like you can see the shadow through it, through my lash line and through the liner. And usually I don't struggle, especially with this particular liner. My wings usually turn out quite nice. But because of the, I guess it's maybe the reflex in it. It's definitely showing through a bit. And I do have slightly hooded eyes, you guys. So if my wings aren't perfect, they're as perfect as they're gonna get. Okay? It's a lot harder to talk when I'm doing my wings. Sorry, I'm just trying to ramble. That wing definitely got a little thicker than the other, but that's okay. I'm just trying, I keep going over this hoping that it'll help cover some of the metallic. I don't want to cover up the shadow, but there's just so darn much reflect, and this liner is more picking it up than covering over it. So I may end up, I am going to put lashes on, so I will come back to do a final look. I am going to put lashes on today, so I may go in with a darker liner, but this liner here with most shadows is beautiful. So actually, I think I'm going to end our live here, and then I'm going to jump off. I'm going to do my glitter cut crease, and then I'll jump back on, and then my lashes, and we'll jump back on to do a final look and to throw something on our lips. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see